Can you just introduce yourself and kind of your background, your professional background, and then maybe how long you've been homeschooling and how long you've been in CC, and then I'll start from there.
Hi, my name is Daniel Hagedorn, and I've been a teacher for 13 years. I taught in both public and private high schools. I taught U.S. history, government, economics, geography. I taught everything from the advanced placement levels all the way down to, on level, as they called it. And I loved it. I mean, I spent 13 years doing that. I had a great time doing it. I loved doing it. My wife and I have been homeschooling for the last 5 years, now going on 6. Our daughter is going to be going into, they call it 6th grade, whatever. I mean, grades, but it's, so she's moving on. But we started out, fortunately, in CC from the very beginning. So beginning in kindergarten all the way through. So it's been great for us. It's been a great experience.
Now, you also, if I remember correctly, you also are a challenge director or tutor, right? Is that right?
Yeah, well, I just finished my first year as a Challenge 1 director this past year. Frankly, I felt like for the first time in 13 years, a real teacher in the true sense of that word, where what I was doing is I was really there to help them think through the ideas that they're wrestling with and to put out ideas that perhaps they hadn't considered. And just to listen to and take in the interaction between themselves and also their response with me. It was, every day our day was on Monday, so I would go home Monday afternoon and just, it was just a charge because you're engaged and I think CC parents just sort of take for granted in some respects what they have in challenge because you do not get this in the classroom. I'm just telling you, I probably in my lifetime have taught 1,600 students, just over the 13 years. I would think 7 or 8 were actually capable of critical thinking, critical thought, weighing pros and cons, really where they had fully cultivated their mind and their thinking processes. And I'm in a room full of Challenge 1 students, and it's just, wow. I was blown away, and just felt so encouraged and so charged. Like, this is what education is supposed to be. Yeah. It was awesome, So yeah, I loved it. Now, like I said, I'm not doing it now, and that's because I have other things that I'm working on. I'm trying to kind of grow and expand and influence to help parents and really empower them to be intentional in this educational journey that they have with their kids, and so I'm trying to give them tools and education, encouragement, whatever you want to call it, but along the way, because it is difficult, and there's a lot of things that we have to frankly overcome from the way we ourselves were schooled. And then we have to kind of go through a process where we de-school from that. And then we've got to figure out, well, what's the good stuff that we put in, and so that's kind of what I'm working on.
No, and that's awesome. And to go back a little bit to what you were saying about you finally felt like a teacher, and we've had this conversation with some of the national field leadership of we define terms of teacher and tutor and
Right.
that kind of thing. And from what you're describing, it sounds like a facilitator, because my background is in executive coaching. I've got about a decade in executive coaching, and really. All that my expertise is I'm good at asking questions. I'm not necessarily a subject matter expert at anything. It's just
Right.
I know how to ask questions, and it seems like as a tutor of a challenge class, that kind of thing is that's what you're doing. You're just facilitating these amazing conversations. And I've had like you said, I've had the privilege of sitting in on some of these challenge classes, and just like you, my first Challenge 4 class, literally as I'm videoing these kids, my mouth is open the entire. I could not believe. I'm like, I didn't have some of those conversations as an adult, let alone as a 16-year-old. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I definitely didn't have the conversations the way that they were communicating either.
Right.
I was raised in my house. Our communication was whoever yelled the loudest. So no debate skills, no logic skills. So to sit and watch these teenagers, I'm just like, oh my goodness. Like we are homeschooling through high school because this is amazing. Because the other thing too that that CC is big on is that the teacher, the one that is responsible ultimately for educating the student is the parent. You know what I mean? Exactly. Is the parent, and that tutor, that challenge tutor, whatever, is like you were saying, is really a facilitator of the discussions. Which is awesome.